Colorado?
I had an aunt who lived in Greeley.
Huh?
Yeah.
Was she spectacularly beautiful, dressed in a white cashmere dress that she was wearing out from the inside?
She looked like Larry of the Three Stooges. But, gotta tell you, her hair wasn't as pretty. Anyway, she wrote angry letters to the newspaper, about 2 a day, as it turned out. Yeah.
Is Greeley far from here?
That's way the other side of Nebraska.
Did you get the feeling that she was attracted to me?
My aunt? How could she be? I mean, you haven't even...
The woman in the white dress. Was she giving me the eye, huh?
No. Listen, that's $2 for the martini.
Put it on my tab. You're wrong. She was coming on to me, wasn't
your
she?
tab is pretty long, Guy. I'm not sure there's any more room on this page.
Write small. She was flirting with me. She was.
Do you have a target date for when you might pay up, Guy?
Yeah, next week, late next week.
Yeah,
listen, that woman was come on to me. Don't tell me she wasn't. She was. Listen, I'm going to go see a guy about renting a car. See you in a couple of weeks.
Don't forget.
Bye.
A dark night in the city that keeps its secrets, where one guy is still trying to find the answers to life's persistent questions. Guy Noir, Private Eye.
Tim Russell, Sue Scott. Thank you for tuning in to our Colorado show. Little radio drama there from Greeley, Colorado, a few years back. Coming up, a song that my friends Bill Hinckley and Judy Larson used to sing on the show way back before you were born. A song called Spanish Johnny.
The Old West, the old time, the old wind singing through the red grass, 1,000 miles, and Spanish Johnny. He'd sit beside a water ditch with all his herds were in, and never mind a child but sing to his mandolin, to his mandolin. The big stars, the blue night, the moon enchanted lane, the olive man who never spoke but sang the songs of Spain. His talk with men was wicked talk. To hear it was a sin, but those were golden things he said with his mandolin, with his mandolin. Stars, the world so golden then, the hand so tender to a child had killed so many men. He died a hard death long ago, before the road came in. The night before he swung, he sang to his mandolin, to his mandolin.
Delicado wrote the words to that song, Spanish Johnny. Thank you, Andy, on the mandolin. Our sound effects man, Mr. Tom Keith, has been instrumental in the recent movement to crack down on violence on radio. Tom has served on the Radio Sound Effects Council, which has drawn up new guidelines on what can and cannot be broadcast. For example, throwing men in suits off cliffs. Tom worked for a ban on this, even though it's long been one of his specialties as a sound effects man. It's been what sunflowers were to Vincent van Gogh, throwing men in suits off cliffs has been to Tom Keith. But it's violent, so we don't do it anymore because it desensitizes people to the pain that would be caused to somebody who would be thrown off a cliff, especially into water in which sharks or other carnivorous fish would be swimming. So all we have are these archival bits of shows, just to illustrate what I'm talking about. Let me just run this tape for you here. This is the guy walking towards the edge of the cliff. Let me just fast forward this a little bit here. That's the sharks. That's the sharks. That's the sharks. Let's back up here. Back up. Rewind. Rewind. Okay. All right. Let's try it here. No, wrong speed. Wrong speed. Wrong speed.
Hey,
sorry.
Look down there. See the fins?
Yeah. No. Oh, no.
Oh, I love that. I always loved that. I mean, we don't do it anymore because it's not right. And it violates our guidelines on radio violence. But I know it just always has a warm place in my heart. That's all. I guess that says something about me. Like the giant condor, the California condor, the big carnivorous bird. Great bird, wingspan 8 feet. I always loved that bird. But, it scared children. Children couldn't get to sleep after we would do a sketch. We used to do sketches with condors with a naked guy tied spread eagle to a rock, like this guy right here. And the condor pecks out his liver. We just feel this sort of thing has no place in public radio because studies show that exposure to violence is terrible for young people, and they also show that violence on radio is 10 times worse than violence on television because violence on radio is so much more real. It's so much more intimate. It's like it's happening right inside your head. For example, speaking of head, when we did the sketch about the doctor who was doing brain surgery, that was so real to people.
A retractor. Number 4, curette, please, yeah. 1/4-inch drill bit, please, yeah. That. Another one over there. The drill, please. Was that supposed to be on the right side? Oh, was? Oh, good. Would somebody mop up this blood on the floor? It's getting pretty slippery in here. Whoa! I said, would somebody mop up the floor? What? What are you pointing at? Where? Ooh.
A scene like that can cause listeners to push the meal away from them. It can cause people to pull over to the side of the road. It can cause people to postpone needed surgery. So, under the new code of graphic sound effects, we will not be doing surgery anymore. We'll be doing mostly seagulls and surf, of course. And we'll be doing steam engine trains, big choo-choo trains. Choo-choo trains that come in along the beach where the surf is coming in. postcard sound effects. Mostly what we will be doing in the future. Listeners have written in people have written in to complain about violence on our show, but you people who complain, you don't know all the stuff that we turn down, all of the scripts that are just way too violent, and we don't do because they would be bad for children. For example, the one about the thunderstorm that touches off the avalanche in the mountains, and it comes sweeping down the mountains towards this 11-year-old boy. He's standing there helpless with his little kitty cat, and this avalanche is coming closer and closer, and then the anthropologist is driving along in his old Jeep with his chimpanzee there, and they see the kid, and they pick up the kid, and he's safe. He's safe.
Mister.
Yes, they take him away. They carry him, his cat, they take him to safety just as the avalanche comes down and hits the big petroleum tanks. And it sets off a tremendous blaze that heats the crust of the earth so that it warms up the dinosaur eggs. And these immense mutant monsters rise up from the crust, and they terrorize the village, and they have to bring in dive bombers to go after them. And they launch cruise missiles against the dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs, crafty creatures that they are, they catch the missiles in their hands, and they throw them into the sea, and they explode underwater. And dolphins come to the surface, dolphins who've been stunned by this, and the dolphins commandeer a submarine to take it over.
We've been attacked by dolphins, sir. What? Dolphins?
And the dolphins, they take the sub down, and they raise the periscope, and they see through they're very intelligent creatures. The dolphins see this meteoroid that's heading straight for the Earth, and they aim that bow torpedo tube, they launch nuclear warheads up into the sky, and they hit the meteor. They deflect it slightly so that it hits the dinosaurs. And it kills them, and it sets off this rock slide. And the rock slide hits the anthropologist's car. He's coming back the other way now, and sweeps it off the cliff, and it rolls end over end over end over end over end down the cliff, and it blows up. And meanwhile, who is standing on that lonely, twisting mountain road but that same kid?
Help!
Same kid. Miles from there, Buck of the Mountain Patrol, he's playing ping pong at the lodge with a friend of his, a ranger named Dave, and the phone rings, and he gets a call from the anthropologist who survived the crash of the car and who now is missing his chimpanzee. He fell out of the car. So Buck takes off in the chopper, and he flies over the wilderness there. And
Hey, what's that down there, rock slide?
And he takes the chopper down over the trees, and he sees the kid. And he lowers a rope, and he lifts him out of there. Now, Buck is the kid's mother's girlfriend. Did I mention that? Okay, I forgot. Anyway, doesn't matter. Where's the kitty cat, you're wondering? Where's the kitty cat? The kitty cat, oh my gosh, the kitty cat's ankle, it's caught in the ties of the railroad track. And that Union Pacific locomotive is heading to Greeley. It's heading here for the stampede. It's coming in. The train is getting closer. Buck, he's gone. He's over the hill. He can't save him. And suddenly, a figure comes loping out of the underbrush. Yes, it's the chimp. And he snatches up the cat just as the train passes by. That's the sort of violence that we are seeking to avoid on the radio. You have our pledge, mothers and fathers.